Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Macedonio, and today we're going to be navigating rough waters together. I would like to share some ideas that we could be all doing to move our businesses forward. Now, the one thing that I know about navigating rough waters is that going it alone makes it even rougher. And that, of course, has always been true, that teaming up with other people and working together has always been a much more effective and efficient way of doing it. But I feel really in this environment that we are in, even more so, it's so important that we're teaming up with other people and helping them and letting them help us navigate these rough waters. You know, it was several years ago, I made a commitment that I would offer personalized coaching to every one of the BNI chapter presidents with the intention of finding out what was business critical for them, taking an hour of uncovering what that was and finding solutions, either some of my experiences or some of my resources to help them. Well, that was my intention. There were ground rules. There were areas like law that I am not going to be expert at, and they'd have to, source that somewhere else. But there are other areas that I was expert at, and I could help them. And one of the parameters we had is that there's no offer after the coaching. After the 1 hour coaching, there is no offer for them to hire me or continue with me. Well, I found out there were some unexpected things that came out of this. One of the first things that came out of it is after blocking all the days that I needed to do this, I found more people took me up on it than I had anticipated. As a matter of fact, I was shocked that just about everyone was taking me up on this offer. And then something started happening during these sessions. I started recognizing traits that were coming through with the people that were truly successful. Now, again, that success was based on finance. I have the business intake form, and I could see what stage their business is in. Okay, but these traits kept coming over and over and over again. And the same traits that were helping these people be successful, the people that were struggling did not seem to exercise the same traits. And I'm going to share those with you because I think they're so important today that we understand them and embrace them in these rough waters. One of the big traits that I came out with is that successful people, and again, these are not just a little bit more successful, these are business owners that are doing 5 to 10 times what their counterparts are doing in the same business, in the same market. Okay, and the first one was mastering the calendar. The successful people master the calendar. When they booked their private session with me, it was booked. They were going to be there. They made sure it worked. And it's interesting, a lot of the people that would struggle would want to reschedule or cancel last moment. And it really showed up in a number of ways, but mastering the calendar was number one. And I think that trait led also to the next two. Okay? They came prepared. You know, when I asked for a business intake form, it was prepared. It was to be well in advance. Okay, and everything we talked about inside their business, they had planned and prepared for. Okay, so they were prepared. And third, they knew their numbers. And I think the preparation in the calendar led to the third, they knew their numbers. So what's so important about this? I'm finding for myself and a lot of people I'm talking with, the biggest disruptor has been the calendar. Places that I was going to, I'm no longer going to. A conference I was going to was canceled. My son's wedding has been postponed. Business meetings that I had scheduled are no longer in my calendar. And I know this has happened for a lot of other people, or there are things going into their calendar that never expected, like being home with the kids. And so I feel today one of the first steps we need to do to navigate these rough waters is master that calendar. To look at it and say, how can I fill this calendar with the most productive things I need to do right now? You know, I think I've got a number of things that I'm going to share with you on how to make those hours in these days productive while we're home. Okay? And at the end, what I'm also going to ask is for you to share with us some of the things that you're doing. You know, it was a number of years ago, but I had a friend call me, and she was in a bad space, and business was getting destroyed. Even though there was a recession going on, that wasn't really the reason. It was really a personal thing that she was going through. Two of the most important things in her life, her parents and her dog, and she lost them both. And she called me up and she told me about her circumstance. She told me where the business was. And she said, Mike, you've always been able to motivate me. You need to get me going. And part of me wanted to cringe because I hate that, motivation from without. I think motivation is from within. But I just kind of discarded the words you use and looked at it as like, how can I help? And so we started having regular coaching sessions, and I knew a circumstance. And one of the first things that we need to do is we needed to map out what we wanted it to look like. Okay, and I think this is important. This may even be worth writing down. When somebody is emotionally hijacked, when somebody is in drama, talking about the problem will only make it worse. I'll say that again. If somebody is emotionally hijacked and they're in drama, talking about the problem would only make it worse. You need to bring the conversation up to the vision. What do you want it to look like? And she was no stranger to this. She knew exactly what I was doing. As a matter of fact, she used to be one of my trainers in Referral Institute. And she started talking about what she wanted the business to look like. And then I said, well, how does that show up in your life? She goes, oh, I want a place on the water. I want to be sitting in my chair reading a book to relax. She goes, I want to be inviting friends to come into my home like we used to and entertain. Right? Now, once we had the vision, now we can start putting some goals, short-term, long-term, and a plan behind it. So we started doing this, and I asked her, she's been in marketing most of her life, what do we need to do next? And I knew what she was thinking. She was thinking about the whole comprehensive marketing plan. And I'm looking at him saying, no way that's going to happen. It would just be too overwhelming considering the state. And so I asked her, I said, could we just do one thing? It's just one thing I'd like to do first. And that step is I'd like you to call people that you love and they love you, those best referral sources you had, the best clients that you have, the best vendors that you have. And I'd just like you to call them and do the how you doing phone calls. I said, you know what that's all about? She goes, yeah. I go, well, how many can you do in a week? And it got me a little bit concerned when she told me 5. And I'm like, how about 2 a day? Who are the 2 top people you would call right now and you would know that would be really meaningful? And so she made her list, and every day she was calling 2 people, doing how you doing phone calls. Well, it wasn't even 3 months later that we're on a coaching session. She shows up and she is excited. And I'm like, what's going on? Tell me what's going on. She goes, oh man, these phone calls have been amazing. She goes, I'm calling people and they're so happy to hear from me. And I tell them what I went through, but they're there for me. And then some of these people I'm calling up and they're saying, man, I can't believe you called me right now. I need to place an order. She goes, I'm 20% ahead of my goals. And the only marketing activity we introduced was how you doing phone calls. Today, I can't think of a better marketing opportunity. I can't think of a better relationship building activity than for us to make these how you doing phone calls. Reaching out, letting people hear your voice, letting them know that you care, and truly lean in and find out how can you help them? What is it that they need? Do you need groceries? Is there some way that I can help you or some way that I can find some information to help you? Right? This deposit in the emotional bank account is such an important part, okay, of staying connected with people. I was making these calls last week, and one of the people I was talking with invited me to a coffee klatch, a virtual coffee klatch. And I'm like, yeah, I'll go. And I go into this virtual coffee klatch because I thought it would be a nice way to support this woman. And I meet a handful of interesting people. When I left that coffee klatch, okay, I had a referral for one of my colleagues. Okay? Again, just by making these calls, staying connected, getting connected into other networks, okay, there were opportunities coming forward. So one last thing about how you're doing phone calls. Okay, the instructions are on the back of your shampoo bottle. Lather, rinse, and repeat. This is not a one-off, one and done. You want to check back in with these people. Well, what do you need now? It's been 2 weeks. Okay, what's different for you now that I maybe can help you with? Okay, again, navigating rough waters is not only about continuing to paddle, it's about getting other people in the boat to paddle with you. Okay, and together we'll navigate them a lot quicker. So how you doing phone calls is one thing that could be in that calendar. The second one is one-to-ones. Okay, the virtual one-to-ones that we could be doing with our key referral sources, that we can be having with our clients, our vendors, and other people in our support network. I've been doing more socializing online than I think I was doing when it was live. Now, I don't consider those one-to-ones, but they're still connections with other people, okay, that we can do. And here's the whole thing, that these social things I'm looking for is, last night, for example, I was invited to a happy hour. Okay, and seeing everybody's faces on there made me feel good. But when I see people laugh, in this environment, everything we're going through, to see people laugh or smile, okay, does so much for everybody in the room. Okay, the same thing with the one-to-ones. Sometimes people just need some more encouragement. Sometimes you need to know they're not in it alone. This isolation certainly could make us seem like we're all alone, but we're not. Okay, not if we stay connected with our networks. So doing one-to-ones. The next, as many of you, I'm sure, are probably aware or involved in BNI. BNI's changed venues. Okay? Attending the networking events is so important. Okay? Now, we always talk about attending and showing up and marketing a business, but I'd like you to think about that other success trait that we talked about: mastering calendar and being prepared. Come to these meetings, okay, prepared. Come to the meetings with your best self. Your best self, the way you look, the way you're prepared, your best self, and being prepared with visitors and referrals and one-to-ones and all of the things that are so important that we do live. Okay, you bringing that presence to the room, okay, not only is going to help you, it's going to help everybody in the room. Okay, it's going to help everyone feel better about themselves. It is going to help you feel better about yourself. So come to the networking events and look for other online networks. Look for other places where people are gathering. I understand one of my colleagues is still showing up to Rotary meetings, virtual Rotary meetings. So look for those opportunities. And when you're going into those networks, look for ways that you can help. How can I participate? How can I contribute? Okay, and who am I meeting here today that's interesting that I'd like to set up a one-to-one with? Okay, so we go back to the other activity, one-to-ones. Now, if anyone here knows me, this one's not going to come as a surprise. Get some exercise. Okay, get some physical exercise. Now, I am not going to tell you all the benefits of physical fitness and the physical benefits and the immune boosting system. I'm going to tell you, we need exercise now for our head. Okay? Exercise is one of the best ways that we can stay mentally fresh, mentally clear, and be productive. Okay? So get some exercise. Now, with shelter in place, that is not as easy as it used to be. I used to like to go into the parks and ride my bike on the trails. Well, those are closed right now. Okay, but I can still get out there. I'm fortunate enough to be in Sonoma County where there's enough space that I can get out there and I can ride my bike without having contact with other people. But however you can do it in a safe way, even if it's just getting into your backyard and letting the sun hit your face, okay, wherever you can do to get out there. Now, there is a chance if you're doing this, you're going to encounter other people. And again, we have to maintain safe distance and all that. But I'm going to ask you to do something. I'm going to ask you to wear an apparel, piece of apparel that I've been wearing. I hope everyone will wear. When you're out there and you see other people, give them a smile. Give them a big smile and say hello. Now, not everyone, but I will tell you, a large percentage of people are going to look back and smile back at you. And some of these, that simple gesture of a smile and a hello, okay, will have such an impact. The other day, I was riding my bike and I came to a red light. And as I was waiting, a young woman came pushing her stroller by me. And I just looked at her, plenty of distance, and I smiled. And I said hello. I want to say she was like so excited that, a human being was there smiling and saying hello to her. She was, hi, and she was it just made her day. And it made my day just having that interaction, okay? Now, one of the things that I've been doing lately too is I've been smiling and I've been saying hello. And some of the people, I can't tell if they're smiling back with me because they're wearing their mask. Doesn't matter. Okay, I'm looking for the eyes. Okay, so get out there, get some exercise for yourself and interact in a pleasant way with other people. Now, the final thing I'm going to share is going to be a little bit radical for most people. And it's something that my wife and I were asked to do over a decade ago. We're working on professional and personal development, and our coach told us, Mike, it would be really helpful if you eliminate the news media. What you're reading, what you're listening to, what you're watching is feeding your mind. and it's negative messages coming into the mind, okay? And that is going to undermine inspiration and hope. That is going to amplify worry, fear, and even panic. And, you know, I'm looking, so let me watch the news and I'm looking, yeah, nothing here is going to enhance my business or enhance my life, okay? And as I continue to evaluate that, I decide, yeah, it's off. Now, this is not a stick your head in the sand strategy. Not by any stretch am I saying that. This is not a stick your head in the sand. What I've recognized is I can find information I need, find information that's important to me in my life and in my business without relying on the news media. Even recently, one of the things I like to know is, when is it going to rain? So I can get my bike riding. And I used to go to the Weather Channel, and I found that the Weather Channel, every time I open it up, it's pushing something traumatic and something negative that's happening somewhere in the world. Where's the latest disaster? I just want to know if it's going to rain. So I actually had to source another website, and it's called W Underground, which basically tells me this is the weather. Okay, there's a banner ad at the side for Harbor and Freight, but it's not broadcasting negativity. Even the way I've managed social media recently is the same thing. I find that a lot of people on social media, I like to congratulate people, say happy birthday, see what they're doing that's fun and exciting. Right? I don't want to go there to have people rebroadcasting the news. Okay? Again, that type of negativity is going to create more fear. And it's my feeling that the impact, both long-term and short-term, of fear is going to be far greater than the virus. I believe the short-term and long-term impact of fear is going to be far outweigh the impact of the virus. I am not by any means downplaying what we're going through. This is extremely serious. This is extremely important. One of the ways that I'm managing it is I go to the county and the state health services website. It tells me what's going on. It tells me what's happening and how it's impacting the community. For example, I checked it this morning. Now, in Sonoma County, I consider us really privileged. As a matter of fact, most of the Bay Area counties are in the same situation, in that being shelter in place and being in shelter in place as soon as we were is helping us. It's working. As of yesterday, this county has 500,000 people. And out of 2,600 people that were tested, there was only slightly over 100 people that actually had the virus. Less than 5% of the 2,600 people actually had the virus. 30 of them have already recovered. And remarkably, with this type of a issue going on, there's only been a single fatality, okay, since this has started. As a matter of fact, there were more recoveries in the last 24 hours than there were people diagnosed with the coronavirus. So what does this tell me? It tells me what we're doing is working. That's what I need to know. I need to know that shelter in place and encouraging other people to shelter in place is working. And if we keep doing what's working, we're going to get through this. And that's how we navigate the rough waters. Okay? Not by letting the news media amplify our fear and worry, okay? But by being rational and going to solid resources. I know we can do this. And I know we can do this if we do it together. Okay, teaming up and getting more people in the boat is the way for us to navigate the rough waters. We'll master our calendar. We'll do the how you doing phone calls, do the one-to-ones, attending the networking meetings, okay, getting exercise, and eliminating the news media, I feel is the best way for us to navigate, keep paddling, and move forward.